Hello, and welcome to another battle report. This is another matchup between the Vampire Counts and Slaanesh Demons. The Vampire Count armies, I decided to not use the skeletons and things like that. This is a combination of ghouls and zombies, essentially. So, that army is composed of the Strigoi Ghoul-King on Terrorgeist, a Strigoi Ghoul-King on foot, a unit of 30 Crypt Ghouls, a unit of 50 zombies, 2 Vargulf, 2 Corpse Cart, 1 with the Lodestone, and 1 with the Flames. And the heroes are the Slaanesh army is composed of a Keeper of Secrets, a Herald of Slaanesh, the Mask of Slaanesh special character, 3 Fiends of Slaanesh, 1 Seeker Chariot, 13 Seekers of Slaanesh, and 2 units of 27 Demonettes of Slaanesh. Now, I decided I'd use the STK system just to kind of see how that worked. And so the Vampire Counts are at 19.5 out of 20. And the Slaanesh, they were at 20 out of 20, but I decided to take off a few models from a few of the units. So I think, if anything, the Vampire Counts have a slight edge over the Slaanesh in the end. So we'll get to the scenario and deployment. So the scenario we played was the Cursed City. This is from the Quest for Galmaraz, Realmgate Wars, Book 1. And one side's an invader. You're moving in on this old derelict urban environment. And the other side is the defender. And the victory conditions are if you kill a percentage of the enemy army, you win at the end of that round. So if the Vampire Counts kill about 38 demons, they win. If the demons kill about 65 Vampire Counts, they win. And there's also another mechanic in the scenario where every time 5 or more models are killed in a turn, you place a counter, and then that represents some evil spirits, which can kind of go on a bit of a rampage and can kill a number of your models. So the Slaanesh Demons deployed on either side of an old chapel with 2 large units of demonettes opposite the ghouls and zombies. The Seekers were deployed on one of the far flanks. The Keeper of Secrets was placed in support behind one of the units of demonettes right in the middle. And the Fiends, Demonette Heroes, and Seeker Chariot were also placed in support on the flanks and in the middle. And the Vampire Counts deployed their big zombie horde opposite one of the units of Demonettes, supported by the Corpse Carts, which provided a nice buff. And the Ghouls were deployed in the woods. That gave them a nice cover save. And the Terrorgeist was placed in behind in support, along with the Ghoul-King and Vargulfs. And they were kind of designed to possibly counterattack anything the demons do. So the Vampire Counts won the first turn of the first round. The Ghoul-King on Terrorgeist cast Mystic Shield on himself to give him the +1 armor save. The Ghoul-King on foot attempted to do the same, but it failed. And then he activated his command ability. He's the General, Lord of the Flesh Eaters. That's a great command ability if you're designing your army around ghouls and Terrorgeists and Vargulfs. It grants +1 to hit, +1 to wound rolls for all those types of units within 18 inches of him. And then the Ghoul-King on foot moved up into kind of in the middle of the board. And the Terrorgeist swooped forward to supported by the zombie horde. and the corpse carts. The Vargulfs moved to intercept the Seekers, and the ghouls remained in their woods. What I was kind of thinking of was because it's a percentage game. There are only a few units on the board that really matter, right? It's the two big units of demons and the zombies and ghouls, and those make up the bulk of the percentage. So you need to you can lose one, you can't lose both. And so it became kind of a game of a cat and mouse, essentially. So the Terrorgeist swooped forward, and it shrieked at the demons. And the demons have a fairly high bravery. I mean, they're 10, but it still managed. They rolled really high on the shriek, and still managed to kill about 4 or 5 demons. And then charged the demonettes. The zombies also attempted to charge, but unfortunately they failed. They're just zombies. They're pretty slow, I guess. And one of the Vargulfs managed to charge the Seekers on the flank. Now, the Terrorgeist went first, because those demonettes are pretty nasty. So I wanted to make sure that enough damage was inflicted on them first. And the command ability on the +1 to hit, +1 to wound on both the Ghoul and the Terrorgeist was really, really good. The Terrorgeist has a lot of attacks that do the potential for really high damage, and so it rolled like an 11 on its main attack, so that killed 11 demons, and then about half a dozen others were also killed. So that was pretty gross, just ripped into those demons. The Seekers were then nominated, hoping to do some damage on the Vargulf. Inflicted 2 wounds. When the Vargulf attacked back, I find the Vargulfs are actually really good. Killed 2 of the Seekers whole, and inflicted a wound on a third, and then it healed itself of one of its wounds. And then the Demonettes attacking back on the Terrorgeist managed to inflict I think it was like 3 or 4 wounds, and then they lost so many that in that initial round that when Battleshock came around, the rest of the unit was taken off the board. So a total of 23 demons have been killed in that turn, which was great for the undead. They're almost halfway or so to their breaking point. And the carnage that had been caused that turn brought a number of angry spirits. They killed off 6 ghouls and 2 demonettes from the other unit. Alright, so now it was the Slaanesh Demon's turn. And the Keeper's Secrets used its command ability, Excess of Violence, which is a great command ability. It allows them to attack twice, or a unit to attack twice. And it put that on the demonettes. And then it attempted to cast Mystic Shield, but the Ghoul Keen on Terrorgeist managed to counter that spell. That was kind of key. So then the Demonettes, supported by their heroes and the Fiends, ran around the chapel to confront the Terrorgeist, because that thing must get killed ASAP, while the Seekers withdrew from the Vargulf. What they were kind of thinking at that point was, it's kind of a losing battle of attrition there. So the devotees of Slaanesh charged the Terrorgeist. They got tons and tons of attacks, as the Demonettes are known to do, and inflicted about 24 wounds on the Terrorgeist. But unfortunately, for the vampire counts, they only killed about 6 demons in return, before the Fiends struck, and then they killed off the Terrorgeist. So in order to capitalize on their success, the demons really needed to win the initiative in the upcoming second battle round. But unfortunately, they didn't do so. So the vampire counts won the initiative yet again for the round 2, and the undead horde of zombies basically moved up to attack the demons. The Ghoul King on foot placed a mystic shield on the zombies, and that also healed the Vargulf, and he once again used the Lord of the Flesh Eaters command. So the zombies moved up to attack the Herald and Fiends, while the fully healed Vargulfs moved to slaughter the Demonettes, and both managed to make their charge range, which is fairly crucial. The first Vargulf killed 8 Demonettes. The remaining Demonettes attempted to kill the Vargulf that hadn't attacked yet, but they only managed to inflict 3 or 4 wounds, and then it returned and killed half a dozen or so more Demonettes. So the Demonettes are now at their critical limit for the scenario. So the Fiends lashed out against the zombies, and they killed 9, but the zombies, they kind of grouped up on the Fiends, and they put 3 wounds on the Fiends in return. The Demonette heroes both piled into the zombies, killing an additional about half a dozen or so of the zombies. And then 11 more zombies were killed by the remaining Demonettes before they warped out of existence because of battle shock. So, again, a pretty brutal round of combat. Well over 30 casualties have been inflicted on either side, which drew more of those evil spirits. And that ability or that part of the scenario was really actually quite important and crucial, because the largest demon units had all been destroyed, and the spirits are drawn to you have to roll over the amount of models in the unit in order to target it. So if you have a small unit, they're less likely to go after it, because the big units of demons have all been killed. All these angry spirits went after the undead instead. They did kill 1 fiend, but they killed also half a dozen ghouls, and because this is a percentage game, that was pretty crucial. So in order to qualify for the draw, the demons needed to inflict an additional 26 casualties on the vampire counts by the end of their turn. And the beginning of the Slaanesh Demonette turn, or Demon's turn, the Keeper was just in range of the ghouls to cast an Arcane Bolt, which is pretty crucial, and that killed 3 ghouls. It then used Excessive Violence on itself to dramatically increase its capabilities in close combat, and it moved up to kind of engage the Vargulfs. The Seeker Chariot moved to engage the ghouls, because that's only 1 model, so if it can inflict a number of wounds on those ghouls, again, that kind of helps out on the percentage game. And the Seekers moved forward or around to charge the zombies on the flank. So for the demons, they were pretty long charges, but they both managed to make it in, which was really crucial. And the Chariot killed 3 ghouls. The Keeper, actually, I don't think the Keeper did manage to make it in. The Seekers attacked first on the zombies. They killed about half a dozen or so. One of the Vargulfs struck at the Fiends, but only inflicted 3 wounds. The Fiends then attacked the zombies because they're the greatest number. They killed 2 of those. The zombies were kind of worthless at this point because their numbers were so down, so they didn't really do much. The Demonette heroes then went up against the zombies again and killed about 8 more. The ghouls lashed out and managed to kill the Chariot. So the remaining zombies were wiped out because of a battle shock, and the demons had managed to pass the victory vampire count's kill point, which essentially tied the game because they had both made it, both completed the objective in the same round. It was an interesting game in many ways. I like those percentage games because you're motivated to take 2 or 3 bigger units and then a handful of smaller units to try to, and you really need to watch those bigger units, make sure that they're not wiped out like a huge a Terrorgeist marching in and wiping an entire unit in one round. In hindsight, there are probably a lot of ways for the Vampire Counts to probably mitigate the damage a little bit better. Like if I had not moved up the zombies, I mean the zombies themselves, you could kind of look at their stats and you're thinking, well, they're going to hit on 2s, and I guess they still wound on 6s, which isn't great. But yeah, this huge horde of them, and I feel like if I had just moved up like the Varghulf and the Terrorgeists and wiped out those demonettes, and then who cares if they kill those 3 models in return, it would have been a better way to do it, and just keep my larger units in reserve and just wait out the turn. So I really like the evil spirits rule too, because that was kind of an added factor that really contributed to allowing the demons to kind of tie up the game essentially. So yeah, that was the end of the game. It was fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, guys.